a look at this one. Oopsie. We need to throw in our variables with our exponents. Well, before, we were working like with the square root of x to the 12th. And all we did was divide it by 2, or cut it in half, and the square root of x to the 12th is x to the 6th. If I had x to the 13th, remember we would write that as, we could write it as x to the 12 times x, because 12 plus that 1 gives us the x to the 13th, that means the same thing. Divide this by 2, we get an x to the 6th on the outside, but leaves an x on the inside. Well, notice we divided by 2, cut it in half, divided by 2. That's because the index was a 2. So when we have a variable with an exponent underneath any other radical, we need to make sure that it's a multiple of this index number. Well, 32. Does 4 go into 32 evenly? Yes, it does. So I can just take 32 divided by 4. That brings all of our b's to the outside, and we end up with b to the 8th. So let's take a look at this one. We've got 250, and we've got b to the 11th. So I need to ask myself, is there a number out there multiplied 3 times, because our index is a 3, that gives us 250? So if you start plugging in your calculators, 2 to the 5th power, 2 to the 4th power, something to that effect, you're going to find out that we can't quite get to 250 even if we multiply something else. Well, I think of 250 as 125 times 2. So if I think of it as, oops, let me erase that, 125 times 2, I know that 125 is actually 5 to the 3rd power, and I need some base to this exponent using that index. So using that index of a 3, we know there's going to be some simplification and some numbers moving outside. So that 125 is written as 5 to the 3rd. We have a leftover 2. And if you take 5 to the 3rd times 2 in your calculator, you'd get 250. Now I've got to look at the b to the 11th and think about, does 3 go into 11 evenly? No, it doesn't. So I need to think of one number less than 11 that is divisible by 3. Well, I know that b to the 9th is divisible, 9 is divisible by 3, but I still have to represent all 11 b's, so I have a b squared. Because if I have b to the 9th times b squared, I get that b to the 11th. So if 5 to the 3rd is underneath this cube root, we know the 3rd and the 3 cancel each other out or simplify, brings that 5 on the outside, but I'm still left with a cube root of 2. That's still left on the inside. B to the 9th, 9 is divisible by this 3, so I actually have b to the 3rd coming on the outside, but I'm left over with this b squared on the inside of that cube root. So the cube root of 250b to the 11th brings out a 5, because there's 3 5's in there, but leaves a 2. b to the 11th is the same as b to the 9th times b squared. Well, 9 divided by that 3 brings a b cubed on the outside, but leaves a b squared underneath that radical sign.